So the Jamaica Parliament is starting to look like a real clown show recently. And I think everybody can actually agree to this. It doesn't matter which party you represent. I'm not sure if it's always been like this, or maybe because of the rise of social media, now we're starting to see these issues. But seeing what should be professional people in a professional settings acting like a bunch of kids, it doesn't really give me much confidence for the future of Jamaica. So today, I want to react to a video. Nekiesha Burchell, she's pretty much stating that she have a major issue with the current Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness, right? So we're going to listen to what she has to say and see if there's any credibility, because she's been under the microscope recently. So let's take a listen.
I do not need anyone to refer to the standing orders and waste the time of the Parliament, because that's my job. That's my job. Oh, that's my job. That's my job.
You have probably seen headlines about a cell phone. You may even have seen the Prime Minister's comments about bullying. What you probably have not seen is the nearly 2.5 hours of parliamentary chaos that came before any of that. This video is not really about a cell phone. This video is about why it is becoming increasingly difficult to get anything productive done in Jamaica's parliament. Let me use last week's sitting as an example. So Minister Horace Chang rose to make a statement.
I rise to provide some clarity on the memorandum of understanding between the government of Jamaica and the government of the United States of America concerning the potential transfer of third country nationals to Jamaica.
He rose at approximately 1 hour and 50 minutes into the sitting. 1 hour, 50 minutes. More than 2 hours later, the matter was still before the House. Think about that. One ministerial statement, which goes to about 30 minutes or so, questions from a handful of members, about 6 to 7, more than 2 hours, nearly 3 hours of parliamentary time. And let me show you why. The minister is entitled to make a statement. The opposition spokesperson is then entitled to respond. In this case, that was Fitzjackson, and he did so within 5 minutes. After that, members of parliament are allowed to ask questions arising from the minister's statement. Not speeches, questions. We get it. Watch what happens next.
Hold on a minute, Minister. There is one additional person who would like to ask a question. Is that so? Pardon me? So it's yourself? Yes. And the latitude provided to the opposition leader will not be provided to you, other members. I'm asking you, stick to the question. So hold on, member. So it would, Member Campbell, I heard you very clearly.
So early on, she signals that she's ready for the contention. Members aren't even allowed to voice their opinion, even though they're not speaking on the microphone.
All right, so Nekiesha, she's doing an entire presentation. Honestly, she's kind of packaged everything what happened, trying to give her account, her side of the story. All right, so let's talk about it, because I won't even pretend like I know everything about what's happening in the Jamaica Parliament, right? However, Juliet Holness, in my opinion, I can definitely tell that she's frustrated, because it's almost like dealing with a bunch of kids. Let's be honest, people. Like, sometimes I watch these proceedings in the parliament and it looks like high school all over again, right? So I can definitely tell her frustration. But I also think that because of the position that she holds, right? She's the Speaker of the House, but she's also the wife of the most powerful man in Jamaica. I think she has a lot to prove, and sometimes she kind of overdo it. It's kind of difficult finding the right balance. I think if you haven't been in her position, it's kind of difficult. You can't really tell her how to react or how to behave, because you've never been in a dual role like she has. She's always under the microscope, right? Because she's always going to have to prove that, no, she's not siding with one party over the other, or siding with her husband in certain issues. But that is why a lot of people are saying that her being in the position that she's in, it's kind of a conflict. And I can see why, but tell me in the comment section, is she actually doing a real job? Those of you who are actually following the proceedings day by day, is she doing a good job as the Speaker of the House? We're going to take a listen further.
And post dance, but he got the latitude to do so in deference to him as leader of the opposition. So the first person will be St. Catherine Northwest, and then after that will be Westmoreland Eastern, and finally it will be the member from St. Anne Southeastern, after which the Minister of National Security will respond.
The Speaker identifies the members she intends to take questions from, those who indicated at the beginning. But notice something important. She does not say questioning is closed. She does not say no further questions will be accepted. She does not say that members who have not yet indicated will not be recognized. She simply identifies the members who had early indicated that they wanted questions and that after them she was going to go to the minister for his response. That distinction matters because there's more than one way to manage questioning.
All right. Nekiesha, big ups to you, right? You've been in the media a lot lately, no lie. However, like I said, I can tell the frustration from a Juliet Holness because she's expecting that she should be dealing with professional people. So once she indicated those 3 or 4 people that she's going to be fielding questions from, then you can't skip the line and decide, say, oh, it's a free-for-all situation. I think that is what's causing the frustration on her part, because she's going to have to be acting like a teacher in a kindergarten settings, right? And I'm not picking sides, people. Like I said before, I don't know much about what happens in Jamaica Parliament. I live in Canada and we have our own set of issues dealing with over here. So it's kind of hard to focus on both ends, but this is definitely too much now. It's getting out of hand. So let us figure this thing out.
Sometimes all questions are taken before the minister responds. Sometimes questions are taken in batches. Sometimes members indicate later because they're listening carefully and trying to avoid repeating questions that have already been asked. That is exactly what Anthony Hilton and I were doing. Please remember that point because it is important. We're going to come back to it later.
The question is, how long could that 10 remain in Jamaica at night?
First thing, let me reiterate. You are not permitted to ask questions asked already. That question was previously asked in terms of the length of time.
That's not so.
You need to listen when the members ask questions.
This has been sped up and edited for
Crawford just say, yes, teacher.
time, but note the tone of the speaker and how she interrupts the speaker every opportunity.
At this point, we are no longer discussing the third country national agreement. We're discussing procedure. In fact, we're discussing procedure that does not appear anywhere in the standing orders. Listen carefully.
That is two strikes, member.
Yeah, well, there's no standing order on strike. So
None. Please do not allow us to go there. So
don't worry.
Strike?
Madam Speaker, third question. Yeah, all the time. Tell live on me all the time.
The speaker introduces the idea of strikes. 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes, you're out. But there's no provision in the standing orders creating a strike system for members asking questions. Then she lectures
clearly, and you weren't interrupted because it was a new question.
All right, thank you, Madam Speaker.
Would you like me to read the standing order for you?
No, I don't.
Please.
and she lectures and threatens to read it as if she could find it. What should have been a few minutes of questioning turns into another lengthy procedural dispute. And notice the tone. You need to listen. Members of Parliament are elected representatives. They're not students in a classroom. Respect for the chairwoman comes from fairness, consistency, and impartiality, not from speaking down to members. Again, we're no longer discussing the issue before the country. We are discussing procedure. Watch this.
All right, she definitely have a point there. Implementing your own set of rules, 3 strike system. I'm curious to know what would happen after 3 strikes if you're going to be removed from the... I don't know. I guess this is unprecedented. There's never been a case like this where a person can say, okay, strike 1, strike 2. And I don't think there's a problem asking a question that was already asked. Obviously, if you're asking the question a second time, you need more clarity on the whole matter, right? This is assuming that the person that answered first answered correctly. So Nekiesha is saying some things that I do actually agree with. However, we still have to look at both sides of the stories, all right? So let's continue.
Carefully. Dr. Dayton Campbell rises. Before asking his question, he attempts to reference the standing orders. You know, the rules that govern Parliament. He does not get very far. His microphone is cut almost immediately.
I rise with my standing orders. And I rise with my standing orders looking at standing order 11A, statement by ministers, and there are 3 subsections under it.
This part of the question and answer session is not freestanding orders. And if you would like to continue, I will now move to the next member who is required to ask questions.
I don't know.
Member from St. Anne Eastern, go ahead with your questions.
What? All right, that's kind of rude though, people. And cutting the man's microphone. Damn. People, we must admit, this is why a lot of people are complaining that this thing look like a whole bunch of cover up, right? Look like corruption at its finest, because her husband, Juliet Holness, he's kind of dodging questions. Allegedly, people, I won't even try to paint a picture of him, but I'm saying the way the optics, the way it looks to me and other people, he gave Cliff Hughes an 8-minute interview recently, right? Because according to him, he was in a rush to leave the country for a few days, right? So it kind of seems like, in my opinion, people, and this is just opinion, it just kind of seems like they're kind of dodging this entire thing about the US having the ability to import deportees, if you want to call it like that, right? And then we see Juliet Holness' wife kind of seem like she doesn't really want to focus on these direct questions because these people have concern, they have questions, and it seems like they don't want to really discuss this in an open settings because they know it's live streaming. This is just my assumption. I don't know. Or maybe she's just trying to follow procedure right through and through. This is why I'm doing these type of videos so we can discuss it in the comment section, yo. So I need people to tell me in the comment section, what are your thoughts? Is she actually following the rules or she's creating rules? Let's listen.
Member from St. Anne Eastern. Member from St. Anne Eastern. Member from St. Anne Eastern, you're being allowed to ask your questions.
Whoa!
The Speaker declares that this part of the proceedings is not about the standing orders and begins moving to another member. She has turned off his mic. She's done with Dr. Dayton Campbell and the people of Eastern Westmoreland. No, pause right there. Whether Dr. Campbell was right or wrong to quote the standing order is not actually the point. He was right, obviously. The point is that he was not even permitted to complete the thought. No one in the chamber is clairvoyant. No one knew exactly where he was going. No one had heard the point he intended to make.
That's true.
Yet the microphone was already off and another confrontation had begun. This happens every single sitting of the Houses of Parliament that this speaker chairs. Too often, discussion is being stopped before it is even fully heard. And now, once again, we're no longer discussing the issue before the country. We're discussing what is in the speaker's mind. We're discussing whether a member can reference the very rules that govern Parliament.
Now, if the question is not governed by the standing order, what is it governed by? What governs the question?
John. Members.
Member Campbell.
So again, the House is at a standstill. The Speaker, aided by the Leader of Government Business, continues to lecture members and block Dayton Campbell from asking his questions.
And another intervention. And another delay. And another.
And people, these are Jamaica's finest. These are the people who were elected to take Jamaica to the heights that it's supposed to, right? Not giving me much confidence at all, people. Let's listen.
The microphone being switched off. This is the Parliament of Jamaica.
Member Campbell, if you believe that you manage the House and you do not follow the instructions given, I will move to the next member.
Question number 2. On what basis is the government of Jamaica willing to send back Cuban doctors but admit?
And his microphone has been muted again for the great comic relief of the Speaker and the members of the government benches.
You need to call the House to order. You're laughing. You need to call the House to order.
Minister,
So here's where we have the dispute again. I've indicated by turning on my microphone that I wish to speak, so too did Tony Hilton after she had taken her initial list. She decides to take Tony Hilton and ignores me totally.
Just 2 questions to the Minister.
Member from St. Andrew West, you turned on your mic. However, I had closed with the Minister to respond. You're the last person. 2 questions.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
Madam.
I did.
Thank you. Thank you,
Go
Madam.
ahead. Minister.
So here we go again. South St. James is being denied again,
Minister.
and only me,
Minister.
because she has admitted other questions, but not mine.
Minister.
The Speaker shouts
please
for Minister
respond to the
Chang to
question.
answer the questions, totally ignoring the questions from South St. James.
I have some.
Yo, that poor microphone controller. Oh my. All right, so people, honestly, it's kind of hard for me to pick a side in this matter at this point, right? Because if you haven't been in the position of a Juliet Holness being the Speaker of the House and then having to deal with, I think the case with Juliet is that she's a person who is all about procedure, right? I can get that. And that is necessary in some instances, right? But I think sometimes we need like free flow conversation. But maybe she's saying that this is not the time or the place to have that type of free flow discussion, right? Maybe they have other settings for that. And people are just kind of randomly popping up asking questions without being acknowledged, right? So I can understand that. But honestly, people, I'm definitely seeing a lot of attitude, a lot of built up frustration. And this can just be from doing this for so long and knowing exactly how these people can be unruly, right? So you kind of have to always be in this defense mode. Because you can definitely tell she's in a defense mode, right? And she's constantly having to remind these people that she is the person in charge. That is what I'm getting really and truly. But yeah, let's take a listen further. Jaja.
Minister, please answer the questions.
Relax, man.
Minister, please answer the questions asked.
So members of the opposition protest, asking what provision is preventing me from asking these questions. Or leader of opposition business, Natalie Nita, attempts to make a point of order and is prevented from doing so by the Speaker, which she has no authority
Minister,
to do.
please turn on your mic, Minister. Any other mic, if you turn it on, it will be turned off again.
I have questions on behalf of the people of Jamaica. I would like an...
Minister, your mic.
Speaker.
Minister, please go ahead with your responses.
Madam Speaker.
Minister, please go ahead with your responses. You take instructions from the Speaker.
Madam Speaker.
Go ahead,
Can I be
Minister.
protected?
I have a question.
Yeah, people, this is actually funny to watch. You can definitely tell that the House Speaker is ignoring Nekiesha. Because she know that probably Nekiesha is an attention seeker, as some would call her. She kind of know that once she get the microphone, she's gonna say some things. She's gonna say some things off the top, and it's gonna be controversial. So she's definitely dodging the questions from Nekiesha. I see she actually give other people blight to speak. I must say, I'm not saying that I agree with Nekiesha on this matter, but yeah, we can tell that there's kind of a little bit of friction going on, people, and it's funny to watch.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. The Speaker has given the floor. Individuals are not detainees, Madam.
Yo, the man can't answer the question. I definitely agree with Nekiesha on that point where it's 2 hours past, right? And they don't achieve nothing at all because we need much needed answers right now. And this is the man to provide the answers and we can't get to here.
Madam Speaker, may I indicate...
It's at this point that I take out my phone, recording a selfie for evidence as our microphones had been...
Yeah, so this is the matter that went viral on TikTok, all over social media, right? We're saying that, why is Nekiesha taking out her phone, taking selfie? So I guess she's going to be explaining that. I hope she can explain the little incident that I saw under the table. You know what I mean? I don't think she's going to address that part though. Maybe in another video. Because a lot of people are furious at her behavior recently because we saw a little something that kind of looked like some flirtatious activities under the table. Allegedly, people, I don't know. Maybe she have an explanation for that, but she's going to be explaining the use of the cell phone. All right, let's listen.
Turned off, and the house was now in a protest mode.
Yeah, mark it.
What is the provision that the speaker is relying?
She is the chairman of this. She run the order.
Members, kindly take your seat and allow the minister to answer the questions asked of him. You don't need to get up on any point of order. You have no need to get up on any point of order. So,
yo, it's a tough job.
Directed to answer the question.
Note, our leader of opposition business, Natalie Nekiesha, tries to make a point of order and is again denied by the speaker, who later said that the proper thing to have done instead of a protest was to ask the leader of opposition business to intervene, which she tried on multiple occasions and was denied by the speaker.
The street, the college, not the street. They heard him. No, not the people take out.
Yo, Mark Golden is just sitting there looking. Holy.
Madam Speaker.
I'm being denied an
Madam
opportunity
Speaker.
to ask questions on behalf of the people of Jamaica.
Madam Speaker.
About this.
And bear in mind, people, the leader of both sides are actually present. Andrew Holness is present, Mark Golden is present, and then both sides. This is disgusting, people. Hands down, this is a big disappointment. We can't deny it. Both sides of the fence, both sides of the parties, yo. Everybody have to actually agree that once you guys come together, this instantly turned into a market house, people. And this is something that's being recorded, and we have it on tape to watch, and it doesn't look good, people. This looks very unprofessional. Every side, every party involved must can agree.
Make a program. On behalf of the opposition to the leader of opposition business.
No, but you're all standing. Anyway, Madam Speaker, may I proceed?
Could you turn off the mics, everybody?
They're on top of their voices.
This is a matter of
No need for microphones.
national importance.
House Leader.
And I know that you would like for the people of Jamaica to get the answers that they deserve.
What is the House
absolutely
rule
nothing
that you're speaking
in the
to?
standing orders which would prevent our members from asking the relevant questions on this matter. In addition, I would like to know, because perhaps you're planning to take the questions in batches. Perhaps it is that you're going to allow the minister to answer the questions already asked, and then you plan to reopen questions for additional answers. Is that the case, Madam?
And I don't think she can be complaining for the minister. If the minister wants to answer the question 3-4 different times and provide clarity, because they need to leave and everybody have a clear understanding. So I don't think just because a question was asked before, because this is creating a much bigger delay. If delay is what she's concerned about, this is complete standstill right now. So better you just allow the people to ask the questions, the real questions that we want to know, we want answers for. So that part, yeah, I kind of disagree with that part on the speaker's behalf.
Because if so, we'll await his response and then allow for others to ask questions.
It is a wonder that wasn't contemplated by the members who rudely stood up.
So this is called gaslighting. Instead of giving us clarity, she continues to push and stoke the fire and blame us, calling us rude for protesting an unfair decision.
And this is where another issue emerges. While members are still seeking clarification from the chair, an exchange breaks out between the Prime Minister and Dr. Dayton Campbell. The Prime Minister tells Dr. Campbell to shut up. Dr. Campbell asks him to repeat it. The Prime Minister repeats it. Dr. Campbell returns the remark to the Prime Minister. The atmosphere in the chamber immediately deteriorates. Government members becoming
Defend your wife, Anjo.
involved opposition members become involved. Voices are raised across the floor. Talk of consequences and punishment begins to fly around the chamber, directed at Dayton Campbell for daring to speak to the Prime Minister in that manner. At this point, we were no longer discussing the third country national agreement. The House is in open conflict. Now notice something. Throughout the sitting, the Speaker had been quick to intervene when opposition members spoke. She had repeatedly interrupted, repeatedly lectured, repeatedly switched off microphones. Yet during this exchange involving the Prime Minister, Mr. Holness, there was no similar urgency to restore order.
Lord.
People can draw their own conclusions from that.
Let's see.
But it is a contrast that many Jamaicans have noticed for themselves. Mr. Holness is now interrupting the House, and Mrs. Holness has no challenge with it.
Madam, Madam,
You are a bully.
Madam,
You are a bully. You are a bully. You are a bully and you will not bully.
Yo! You are a bully. All right, Anjo. All right. We kind of definitely see the point. Oh, yeah, that is definitely a clear breach right there because she's targeting what seems to be one side and then the other side is able to do whatever they want. Very interesting, people.
Remember, the House is in chaos, or mics have been turned off, and this is needed for evidence.
Once again, Member Burchell, in contravention to the standing orders, is using an electronic device and taping in the House. So, Member Burchell, the moment you go ahead.
And now we finally arrive at the cell phone. This is the moment everybody has been talking about. But by now, the House has already descended into total confusion. Members are protesting. The microphones have been muted. Important exchanges are taking place off microphone. The official audio record is no longer capturing everything that is happening. At that point, I make the decision to record. Initially,
you made the decision. You made the decision to break the rules. Come on, you made the decision to break the rules. You can't justify it because the house mic is turned off. You decided to use your personal recordings. You decide that you're gonna break the rules, right? Because you're saying, okay, there's a riot happening. There's a bunch of people breaking the rules, so you're gonna jump in and break it even further. Come on.
I'm recording myself in a selfie type of mode. I am documenting the fact that I am being denied an opportunity to ask questions on behalf of the people I represent. People may agree or disagree with that decision. That is their right. But it is important to understand why it happened.
No, you're wrong. Nah, she's definitely wrong on that end right there. Taking out a phone in a setting like that and doing a self-recording, you're definitely wrong. Because you're saying that you're trying to document. We still use the footage. Let's see if she's going to actually use the footage from her cell phone, which I strongly doubt it. Because there's still a recording. Even though the microphone is muted, we can still listen and we can still see what's happening. You get me? Crazy.
I was not recording for entertainment. I was not going live, as the speaker said. I was attempting to preserve a record of events while the official microphones were muted and important exchanges were occurring outside the audio recording. I am the information spokesperson. Now watch what happens next.
A member across the floor has consistently been using her phone to record members in the House, which is a breach of the standing order.
Yeah, the man is all up in phone cam. He's on a signal. A signal boss. Anyway, people, I never pick the side. Yeah. Yo, this seem like high school. Matter of fact, this is not even high school, yo. This look like way back in kindergarten type setting, yo. Oh, he did it, so I did it. He did it first, and a bunch of finger pointing. All of you guys are wrong. These people are supposed to be the leader of the country. These are the people that we elected, yo. And you're telling me that a group of people can't even come together to discuss the most vital issues happening in Jamaica right now? Because we have concerns, yo. And it don't look good. And it does seem like this is a whole bunch of distraction. Like this is just distracting people from the real issue. Which is, we want to know why the US is able to deport people into Jamaica. We need to know the answers. We need to know what Jamaica is getting out of it. This is why, to me, this was a wasted opportunity right now. They wasted 2 hours yapping and going back and forth at each other instead of actually brainstorming and figuring out the long-term effects of this thing. Yo.
Madam Speaker, I am asking that you name the member.
So he was just recording, but he's calling for me to be named.
Another member takes out a phone and
Yo, thief, I like the thief with long bagging of people. Yo, my grandmother ain't never tell a lie.
begins recording me, he says. So at that point, there are 2 members recording, yet only 1 member is threatened with being named. Only 1 member becomes the focus of the speaker's attention. Again, people can draw their own conclusions about bias in the House. My point is simply this: if a rule exists, it should be applied consistently.
And if the rule exists, you should follow it. Point blank period. Not because you see somebody, there's a riot going on and people break into supermarket and start stealing things. You're going to say, okay, all right, the rule is out the window right now. I'm going to steal as well. You're still stealing. So come on. Poor explanation to defend yourself, Nekiesha. Can't side with this.
The issue cannot be the act itself when multiple members are doing the same thing. The issue becomes how the rule is being applied. And that is why so many people watching this have concerns about fairness and consistency in the conduct of proceedings. Eventually, the situation becomes so heated that the House is forced into recess. Think about that. We have now moved from a ministerial statement and simple questions to a parliamentary recess. Not because of the issue before the country, but because the proceedings have become consumed by conflict again.
A million lectures later, and I'm allowed to ask my questions.
The easiest thing in the world would be to make this story about a member taking out her cell phone and doing selfies in Parliament. The cell phone is not the story. The cell phone appears almost at the end of the story. The real story is what you have just watched. A minister rose to make a statement at approximately 1 hour and 50 minutes into the sitting of Parliament.
On that portion, I can definitely agree, people. I can definitely agree. Honestly, I'm curious to know your position, your opinions on this matter, because I'm still conflicted. Like I said, a lot of people can be right in the situation. A lot of people can be wrong at the same time, right? So I need you to tell me, what are your thoughts? Are you siding with Nekiesha or are you siding with the House Speaker, right? Share your opinions. And I'm going to be leaving a link to the full video in my description as per usual. I think you guys need to go over there and check it out. This is a sad day right now, people, in Parliament. Sad day for Jamaica overall. Drop it in the comment section. I could discuss it there, people. I'm your boy Wiz. I'm out.